Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Heroes Table. I'm your host Isha, and with me I have my co-hosts Midnight and Tanubius.
Hey
Hello.
everybody.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of more quality of life changes since last week. At least I believe I saw that in the changes channel.
Yeah, it looks like we have a lot of sounds.
Yeah,
We
that too.
added over 600 sounds.
I think that happened on the Monday after last week's show, so basically this Monday, which was interesting. So we couldn't cover it in last week's episode, but yeah. Apparently lots of sound effects. And I think I'm gonna check my audio sounds to see that I have them on, so we can check them out.
I'll enjoy them.
So it does say alpha, so maybe they are still working on it, but maybe it's ready enough. Let's see what the weekly challenge is. 3 auction listings. Okay, so that's another thing. We got the offline auction house. I haven't had a chance to check it out myself, but I hear it's very nice.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. Whoever put up I think it was a legendary pigtail, I appreciate you. Yeah, it's very nice. Just bought it. It was instantaneous, which was cool. It was so fast that I almost thought it didn't work. And then I went to check my mail, and there it was, hanging out, ready to go.
That is awesome.
10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Yeah, I made a lot of progress in the Dark Tower last time.
Nice.
I re-equipped some stuff on some of my characters, and now they actually started to make sense. Or at least
nice.
they started not to die a lot. I wonder if speeding up is interfering with the sound effects.
Oh, interesting.
It sounded like it did, because now I hear the sound effects, and I didn't really before. Like, I heard noises, but not sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
I do seem to have found a problem already. It's repeating a sound effect. Uh-oh.
He's just doing it again, guys.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah, so if any devs are watching this, then yeah, sound effects are broken apparently. Let's see if it stops if we do something else. That does seem to have fixed it. Maybe. Nope, that sound effect really just wants to be there. Unless it's one of the enemies that makes, or one of my characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's supposed to be there, but I don't know. No, it's definitely still there. Nope, it's coming back every time.
I don't know if this is, speaking of the auction house, I don't know if this is how it has been, but the longest duration you can go for an auction is 14 days. Just so you know.
So I noticed something has changed in the health bars of the bosses as well. At least on Rex and Stampede, they have like tiered health bars. At least that's
Yeah,
what
I
it looks
noticed that
like.
too. Yeah.
But I don't know what it means. I didn't notice that on any other creatures. Wait, what? Did my auger just do something on its own? I'm confused. or maybe it got skipped. I didn't see if it had some ability that, or some debuff that made it skip. But yeah, I'll see if the sound effect gets stuck in the next one. I'm trying to finish this as fast as possible so we can get rid of the sound effect that's stuck, but I can only do so much.
Oh man, Arena Ham is still brutal. Oh, you know what? I bet my super powerful item is the reason I got wrecked on Arena Ham.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yep. He's doing 8 million. He just did 5 million damage in a single hit.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I just did 28,000 damage with my Augur on the basic attack. Nice. I did not know that was possible.
I may have made a mistake buying that super powerful item. We'll see. I know not what I did.
Okay, let's try another battle and see if we get that repeating sound effect again. Okay, it's gone for now. That's good. Progress. Okay. Yeah, it must have been a one-time thing then. I guess there's a reason the sound effects system is in alpha.
Yeah.
I knew what I went into. Oh, it's back. It's my vampire.
It's just the vampire?
Well, it was some attack I did with the vampire, but I noticed that it was the same sound. And it is the same sound that's repeating, so there must be some sound on the vampire that's breaking it.
Interesting.
Now it's stopped, though. Let's see if I can replicate it again. Also, I need healing. Okay, so it seems to be the hammering of Demina. I think something is missing there. Or maybe not. I don't know. Nope, it seems to not matter which of the abilities we use. The vampire just gets a sound effect stuck consistently, it seems.
Maybe it's an issue with that one sound. Is it just that one ability sound?
No, it happened for multiple abilities, but it's the same sound.
Oh, okay.
I can try it again now. Now I'm just using the basic ability. Oh no, now that effect just didn't play at all. I wonder if it's a combination of the vampire attacking some enemy. This getting complicated.
He should have broke it again. Mom.
Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, there it is. So when I
north on you.
When I attack the orc pawn, at least I think when I attack something that might have a weapon that would make that sound effect. I don't know. But this time it disappears. In the last fight it just kept going. So I guess some progress.
Working on isolating it.
Yeah.
feel like
So-
sound is a whole new like layer of the game. I can't imagine it's like an easy thing to add in.
No, I don't think it is. It is definitely the same sound effect, and it's definitely caused by the vampire doing something. But I don't know exactly what it is. Okay, so I think that's a no on the vampire thing. It just got caused by a bear now. Same sound effect, but does not seem to have been caused by the vampire.
Interesting. The plot thickens.
Yep. Now my question is, why would the bear even make this sound effect happen?
Is it because he's on fire?
A fire sound effect that might have the wrong sound?
I don't know. I just noticed that he has an effect on him.
No.
Nope.
Oh, there's still fire. How do I confirm this? I killed this one. No, it's definitely still there.
Definitely let the team know and see if they can sort it out.
Yeah.
Sure, there's something back there that's going wonky. I think wonky is a technical term.
I use it all the time
Yeah, definitely.
at work.
Yeah. Well, it's just going wonky.
It means what it means.
Yep. I guess that's better than looking at it and going, what the Sure, customers, you typically don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Narrowing it down.
wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering because if it happens this consistently for me, but not for anyone else, because if it happened this consistently for everyone else, they would have noticed this before they released it. So
That's
there
true.
must be something that's happening. Because it's been happening for every fight, every single fight for me. That should have been found when they tested it, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which suggests to me that it is not something that occurs for everyone. I don't know if any of you guys are playing it right now. Maybe you guys can confirm if you have it too. Just in any fight.
Yeah, I'll turn sound on and see. See if I can recreate it. Do I need to? Oh, yeah. Gotta turn on battle sound effects. Here we go.
Jay White is saying it happens for him too.
Okay.
He says for him it seems to be on the Avenger.
I'm running on double speed too, so
Yeah, I noticed when I sped it up, the sound effects also play in double speed, but it also seems to be repeating for me. In double speed. But when I had sounds on for the first time, it felt like, well, I guess they were just so short that I couldn't hear them.
oh, yeah, I just got one. I got one repeating. Sounds like a Slice. Centaur champion attack.
Hmm. I just won my 200th
Well
time.
done.
Nice. Yeah. Is the sound effect that's repeating for you like the slice? It sounds like a
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's just that particular sound effect then. Maybe it was recently added when they pushed it out, and then that's why they didn't notice it. I don't know. Maybe it just started happening after the fact. Guess there's many reasons.
Is it like constant?
It is once it gets stuck, for me at least. It just continues until after the battle.
Yep. But it gets interrupted.
Yeah.
It gets interrupted by other sound effects and then comes back afterwards.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's very weird.
No.
But
I thought it just stopped, but it didn't.
I don't know how sound works in the engine that they are using, so it's difficult to speculate what's happening. But it does sound like it's basically not timing out in the way that it's supposed to. But I don't know if it's because they explicitly have to go into every sound and say, now you have to stop playing. Or maybe it's if they are using it as some kind of asset, maybe they are missing a tick box that, or maybe they have put a tick box that says repeat or loop or something, and it's not supposed to loop. I don't know. I don't know how they have made their resource system.
You like the sound effects though, except for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to turn it off for the stream so we don't drive people crazy.
Yeah, it's a little. It gets sort of repetitive.
No.
Oh, it just stopped for me in mid-fight.
Anything in particular that happened that could have made it stop?
Not that I. Oh no, now it's back.
Okay.
Never mind.
Just took a short break.
Yeah, I think maybe there were other sound effects that were just blocking it.
But yeah, I mean, generally, I also like the sound effects because we just need to track that one down.
Yeah. I think I put this item on the wrong character.
Oh no. Elementals.
Dun dun dun. Wait, what? What? Where did that weapon go? Uh-oh.
What? Your new weapon?
Yeah, I just took it off of my executioner and
You probably have to exit the page and then go there again. I noticed that too sometimes. Equipment doesn't
yep.
show up until you exit and enter again.
Okay, interesting.
Oh no, not the vampire. We'll kill this one first. Finding out my auger can revive is a huge help.
Yeah, that has been hugely helpful in the harder fights where they managed to kill my high priestess. Man, you really did make some good progress in the Dark Tower. You just jumped right ahead.
Yeah, apparently it helps to properly equip your characters.
Yeah. Yes.
Not that they were that badly equipped before, although I suppose they were taking this into account, but now they are better. At least now my monk is not my superior character anymore.
Oh, wow.
Do you fellas have insights on the mobile release? I don't think we have any more that hasn't already been said. They are working on it. Of course, I don't know what people have seen, what has been said, so I guess we can reiterate, but I think basically they're working on it is all we really know. We don't have a time frame of when they expect it to happen. I think it's really just like getting the approval process, but considering they just made the trailer and showed it today in the general channel, I would say it's probably very close, because usually I think that would be one of the last things. Like they're basically filling out the checklist for it, making sure that there's the trailer and probably setting all the rest of the stuff up. So I think development wise, if I had to speculate, I would say it's probably as done as it's gonna get. Probably maybe they are doing last minute fixes, but I don't think they are like heavily in development of that anymore, because yeah, they are doing all the other things that kind of suggest that it's essentially finished, or at least finished to a point where they're happy with it. But that's not confirmed in any way, so take that with a grain of salt. I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely, I mean, the team, in my experience, doesn't start announcing and rolling stuff out until it's really ready and they're ready for it. So if they're talking, mobile trailer and all of that, then I know they've been working towards it for a while and everyone's been waiting for it. But I would assume that it is pretty close. I think last I heard, the biggest hurdle was finding like fiat payment processor to take the fiat payments from the App Store, because obviously that's the huge benefit of being in the App Store. It's good exposure, it's good everything else, but the fiat payments are really what make it. So I haven't specifically asked them in a while about that, but I'm gonna ask them if they've made any progress on that.
Another thing that could be interesting to see is if they will release the mobile version as a free-to-play, and then alongside that release the free-to-play aspects on the web as well.
Yeah.
Or if the app will be paid, but I don't think it will be paid. I'm pretty sure the app will release as a free one, but I guess we don't really know. but I think it's going to be a hard to sell if it's on the App Store, and also like how do you price it compared to? I guess you could just price it as the cheapest game package or something, or can you have different? I guess you can have different options in the App Store. I don't actually know how App Stores work, but can you have multiple different like packages of purchases for one app?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the intention is to launch free to play alongside the app.
Yeah, that would be the easiest, I assume.
Yeah.
But that depends on the state of free to play, of course. And I think that's mostly on the technical side. I guess there's not really any gameplay changes that is required in order for the free to play to happen. I guess it's more like, how does it not interfere with the paid system? Like, and like how do we balance it against people who paid and people who are not gonna pay, or at least people who are playing for free? Maybe they will pay later. Who knows? So there's definitely some challenges on that.
Yeah, and I think they've worked hard they've put a lot of thought into, obviously with the release of free to play, other people that bought characters will be like, well, what happens to me? And I think they've put a lot of thought into a system that fairly compensates people that paid, and sort of creates a incentive to buy more, like buy stuff if you like the game. The free to play obviously is just to pull people in, not force them to invest right off the bat, but then give them the opportunity and different benefits if they do choose to invest.
And also, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure free to play doesn't mean that the characters you've paid for goes away. It doesn't mean that everything is free to play. It just means there will be some benefits to having purchased characters, but you can also play the game for free.
Correct.
So just to be clear, it's not like something is being taken away.
No. And I think that's, been part of the thought, is how do you create a system where nothing is taken away from the previous people that paid.
Yeah. So basically has to be balanced to make it, I guess to not devaluate what people have already paid. I think it's probably unavoidable that it will devaluate some amount, but I think it's basically how do we best have free to play and paid coexist without making one of them redundant. Like free to play has to not be too limited, but it also has to be limited enough that it's actually worth it to spend money on it.
Right, and I think the other part of it is, the on-chain, off-chain people, right? So everyone that's bought into the game now is on-chain, but I think from my understanding of the App Store, they're not necessarily forcing people on-chain to play in the app. So, I think there will be a benefit, obviously the inherent benefit of being on the blockchain, in which you own your characters and can buy or sell them as you want. But there may be other benefits for on-chain folks as well.
Yeah, and I think it's also important that we realize that not everyone is interested in having that be a thing, like having the ownership. Like, at least most people in like the gaming space, they don't care if they own the stuff that they have in a game or not. So it's not really a selling point to get like quote unquote gamers to play the game.
Right.
So and in most circumstances it's probably gonna be a deterrent rather than an encouragement for that group of people, because, well, as we all know, they have come to know crypto and blockchain stuff as a bad thing. So having that stamp in the app is probably not gonna like do anything good. Not that we should hide it in any way, but I don't think it should be front and center that like as a selling point.
Right. I mean, giving folks the option to come on chain if they enjoy the game and want to, also have the benefit of the on chain aspects.
Yep.
The invitation, I think, is a good idea. Just say, hey, if you like the game, you want to, take it a step further, come check out the blockchain side of it, without forcing people to do it. And really, if if the money that people spend in the app store off chain comes on chain to benefit the on chain investors and players, it's almost beneficial to like have people not come on chain, right? I mean, to some degree. Not like obviously we're not trying to like deceive them or play them or whatever, but like if all they want to do is play off chain and buy some stuff in game with some fiat currency, like that's cool and they can still enjoy the game, and it's just more of a benefit to people that have resources on chain, have bought on chain and all of that, because it there's still the treasury system that supports the game and the on-chain aspects of the game and all of that. So sort of like, additional capital coming on to help support the game, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think that's also where the strengths come in. Like that's exactly it. Like it appeals to both types. Mutually beneficial, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, at least that's why I think it's gonna work.
So what do you mean, Jay? We have a comment from Jay that says you can't price it in if the web app is free and then would make no sense to release it in the first place. I haven't been tracking closely, so I'm not sure.
I think it was related to the discussion of whether the app was going to be free or paid.
Gotcha.
And I guess it's true. Since you can access the game on web for free, it wouldn't make sense to price the app. But you still need characters in order to play the game. So I guess the question there is, if you get the app, then you would have to buy it so you have characters with the app. So essentially what you're doing is not buying the app, technically. You're just buying the characters, but through the app. Yeah. I think that would have to be the workaround if that was the case. But again, if they're releasing the free-to-play version on both platforms at the same time, and then releasing the app with the free version, then you don't have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think in order to maximize adoption, free to play probably makes the most sense. Free app, free gameplay to some degree, free gameplay, and then take it from there with in-app purchases and such.
Yeah, especially when you look at like analysis for mobile games.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I know that it's a lot of pieces coming together. I know, we've been talking about the mobile game for a long time now, and it's just a lot of stuff all coming together. So hope if they're talking about the trailer, then my hope is that we're seeing it all come to fruition and all fit together nicely. Because that's really the next step.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited about it as well.
Yeah.
And also to see what the next step from there is.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Gotta get some better stuff for my High Priestess. He is rocking really low eye level stuff, but it all has really good will. Like I haven't gotten stuff that really pushes that. That's good. It's interesting. She's using like eye level 71 weapon, and my newest, items are pushing eye level like 375, but just nothing has the same amount of will.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay's saying it's been over 2 years. Crazy to think we're still grinding this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think that also speaks to, like, even though our community is very small at the moment, hopefully the mobile launch will also, and free-to-play for that matter, will change that. But, like, the fact that we still have a community that's stuck around for so long, I think speaks to the fact that this is actually a genuinely well-made game. Like, even with what it has, and that's not talking about what is to come. And of course, we don't know, like, when do they decide the game is done? We don't really know. I know they have a lot of things they want to do still. At least over the years, they have discussed a lot of different things. I hope to see some of it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we don't really know what's still on the table and what isn't. It also depends on the runway they have remaining, the available funding they will be able to get for those developments. Like, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know Jay asked a question about developments on the building out the community. And the team right now is obviously working on the mobile game. They're talking to some marketers. They're looking at that cost and what that does to the team's funding and all of that. It's not just a jump into it type of thing. So we're talking to some really good teams that I'm excited about. It's just a matter of working on the game development while also bringing in the marketing and talking to marketing about what all that looks like. So in progress, I guess, is the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that is also a long process, getting that in place, getting that moving, making sure it's the right team, all of that. So it's a lot of pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is for sure. I don't like how much Sundin is healing. That's very annoying. Oh no. I think this is it.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. The longer they go without the mobile game and without the fiat payments, the more they're leaning on the capital that they receive from the VCs. But I think that's where the real world experience in managing budgets and managing projects from this team sort of comes in in handy. They understand how to manage their money and how to project out costs over a significant amount of time. I mean, year and a half, and they've been relying largely on the capital that they've raised. So, I think that's part of why it's important we get mobile, get the fiat payments, get some external cash flow. But I think if the past year and a half shows us anything, it's that the team knows how to manage that aspect of it.
If you consider the games that made millions of dollars in revenue and are not here,
Yeah.
it says everything you need to know about where the industry started and that a lot of people got in, in the beginning, made a lot of money, but then didn't, plan accordingly.
Yeah.
So they probably made out with some money, but their games are done,
Yeah. Saw Crabata, I mean, probably a month ago now, but Crabata, it ended up closing its doors, and they were one of the big ones.
Yeah.
They were around, they were huge to begin with and been around, long for a while, and they ended up closing their doors. So I think some of the long-term vision and, I think it's a solid team.
I think I broke the game again.
Heesha.
I can't click on anything. Well, I can click on some things, but I can't attack. And I can't skip. It won't work. Help.
I also find it interesting, I remember during the previous project, there was always talk about pivoting, and there were a few major pivots, and just like thinking on that, the team hasn't, the team has this vision of eternity, and it's just continued to build that vision. It's not like they're making these, huge fundamental changes in order to address different things that they see. Sort of like to me, it shows like a confidence in vision, a confidence in what they're building, that they're willing to, they're just making it better and adding more things. They're building out their vision and their roadmap instead of trying to pivot all over the place as the market does what markets do, and run through cycles. So it's just sort of interesting to me, an interesting observation that instead of adding all these different kitschy things to try and hop on the new bandwagon, they're sort of building their vision, building what they have confidence in.
Yeah, definitely.
And not releasing random crap like the Gollum video game. Anybody buy that?
No.
I did not buy it. I saw some gameplay from a buddy and was like, and that's a no from me.
Yeah, there's a big lack of good games at the moment, I feel. At least I haven't been able to find many of them.
Yeah, for sure. I know the Gollum game was more of an indie studio, and I've really enjoyed some of the smaller games. I don't want to knock the small studios by any means. Blizzard with Diablo 4 made changes in their first major patch that people thought would effectively kill the game. I don't know what the game player numbers are these days, but even the big studios seem to be having some trouble.
Yeah. When the money talks.
Yeah.
At least it's easier to make mistakes when it's the money talking.
Yeah.
So Alex has a question on Twitch chat. He says, after mobile release, we will expect players growth? Keeping new players, devs will have to speed up development and constantly expand game. Do they have enough time and resources for that?
Right.
I feel like they do, because I feel like even though it might not seem like a lot is happening like from the outside, it does feel like they have like parallel stuff in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had the redesign of the game, for example, was alongside the whole like legal process for figuring out like how do we figure out the app launch, like does it make sense? And then once they figured out, okay, it seems like it is possible to launch in the app stores, then like that process began. But I feel like there's still people like working on the game. It's not like everyone is working on the same thing. Do they have enough resources? And I'm assuming resources here means like development resources and not necessarily money, but money is also part of it. So like resources in general, I don't know, maybe. They seem to be bringing on people when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So considering that we haven't seen new faces around in a developer sense, I feel like they might have the resources they need for the current time, or they just haven't found anyone qualified for it. I don't know. I don't know the process for that, but I think they are in a good spot. They seem like they have a team of competent people, so.
Yeah, I think they, my understanding of the workflow, and we don't get really a view into the like day-to-day workflow, right, of the development team. But from what I understand, they develop sort of in tandem with each other. So sometimes it, like we've seen, sometimes it goes a long time without, huge new updates. And then, relatively quickly things start rolling out. And I think that's just a result of that sort of parallel work. Someone's working on sound effects and the other's working on the redesign and the other's working on all these different pieces, and then they just start sort of coming out as they're ready to roll out. I think it's hard to anticipate what's going to happen with the App Store. I do expect community growth and more exposure through the App Store, but if we get 20,000 players or whatever, it's going to be a much bigger game than it is now, and the team may need to scale up or change how they operate to address that. But like I said, I think that's where the project management experience comes into play.
And also at that point, they will have more funds in order to scale up, because they will have an income source that is not just VC funds.
Right. Absolutely. They'll be able to scale up accordingly. And I think, they've done a good job of allocating the resources they have in a good way, instead of growing the team so big that it's unsustainable and drains the funding. They seem to have done a good job of being selective in their expansion. So
yeah, and another thing that I was thinking, if they are for some reason or another unable to keep up with the demand for new content, I think like something that I at least appreciate from like game studios I'm following and stuff, like just getting regular updates, like developer blog posts, update videos, whatever. And we can even use the heroes table for that. Like if a developer wants to write some stuff about what they are working on, then like we could be the people to relay that information on like a weekly or monthly or whatever, how often it is basis. So they don't need to allocate a lot of resources for that, because like we are literally here to be able to do that. They would just have to write the technical like article or blog post about it, and then like they have done that in the past already. Like they have the Medium articles that they write, but I think if they were to write those more often, I think that would be a good stopgap between like nothing and new updates.
Right.
So that people don't see nothing, basically.
Yeah. It seems like my impression has been recently that they have been working on a lot of stuff, but it's not that like it's not the sexy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're working on finding a fiat payment processor. Like, wow, that sounds so boring. I'm asleep. It's not like we're rolling out new enemies and new bosses and the stuff that players will really be like, oh yeah, it's a lot of like background stuff that gamers will be like, oh cool, fiat payment processor, I don't care. Whereas mobile, right, like stuff that doesn't add necessarily directly to the gameplay but is essential for getting to a point where you are just adding content. You're not adding mobile and stuff like that. You're on mobile, so now you can focus more on adding characters, enemies, features, balancing the more, day-to-day, more sexy stuff that people like to see in all the nodes. And I think sound is cool. Like, there's still some of that, but I do get the impression that the more background, more boring stuff, if you will, has been taking up a good amount of resources to get in place.
Oh no. Yeah, and I think in the times, if there is another time like this, which there probably will be, where they are working on some stuff that people might not find that interesting, because it's not directly like new gameplay stuff or something that people care about. But in that scenario, it could be nice to just say, we have some people working on this new feature that may be like far out because we only have this amount of people working on it. But here's a description of what we are basically wanting to do with this feature. And it may change in the final product, but these are the current thoughts. And then we can basically just go through that on the heroes table, for example. And then we can like have a discussion with the community about it. And maybe that could like help to make the changes before, like they are good at requesting feedback when they need it. So I don't think it's like, this is not how we fix something that's lacking, because I don't think it's lacking, but I think this might improve the attention from the community in situations where they have a lot of background work that might not be so visible in the community.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we have the channel for it, so yeah, just use it.
Yeah. I feel like that's always a hard balance, is when do you talk about something, when do you not?
Yeah.
So.
But I think it's just important to set a precedent that says like, this is our current thoughts. We are working on this. It might not end up being like this in the final version, but I mean, what are people's thoughts? I know we've had some of these discussions within the team, but I think maybe not on the earliest. Like, of course, there has to be some progress made on it. It's not like usually when we discuss new stuff, it's like we've thought about this, but have not really developed much about it. But maybe when it is more developed, then like, involve people, or at least just say like, this is something that's coming, because I guess at some point you have invested enough time to say this is definitely something that is coming, but maybe not in the current iteration. And I think at that point you could discuss the current iteration and say like, this might change, but in the current iteration it works like this.
Yeah.
Because then people know that something is happening.
Right. I think that's the That's the important part.
Yeah.
Getting it out is awesome and obviously the goal and
Mhm.
key to it, but giving visibility about what is happening and why it's happening that way goes a long way, and is a lot of is a lot of visibility that I think a lot of more traditional game studios don't give.
Yeah.
You get pre-release patch notes. You don't get like, so what's the team doing now with their day?
Yeah, and I don't
So
think we needed that detailed either. But yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
There are definitely good examples on how to do like development updates, and some teams go like very detailed about what each team member is doing. But I mean, it doesn't have to be that, because obviously that the more time they have to spend on that, the less time they can spend on development. So obviously the ideal scenario would be that most of the time is on development. But I think it is also important to engage with the community in order to keep the community engaged, because after like in the end, the community is the ones that's gonna pay your salary. So you need to keep them around and keep them involved, not just because of that, of course, but like yeah, it's a two-way relationship. Like you need to give the community something in order for the community to give back.
Right.
And again, I'm not saying that the team is not doing that. They are definitely doing that. But yeah, it's just like we can always improve, I think, and always look for improvements.
Right.
But yeah, I think we are in a pretty good spot, and that's probably something I've said before. But yeah, looks like stuff's closer now than it's ever been, and probably every day going forward, it's gonna get a day closer.
Yeah. Hopefully, 1 week soon, we'll have the mobile release discussion and chat. I'm sure it will happen during a week that I'm not in town and cannot check it out, because that just seems to be how these things go. So don't worry. In 2 weeks, I will be out of town for a week. So if history is anything to go by, that's a good guess.
Yeah, I will have some time in August as well where I'm not gonna be here. So, yep, might
Just
be
doubling up the chances.
Might be exactly in those weeks. All right. But with that, I think we have reached the end of the stream. So, yeah. Unless anyone has any closing comments, I don't see any new chats.
No. Thanks, Jay and Alex, for joining us. Always good to hear from you guys. Glad to see y'all around. Glad to hear you're still playing.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, yeah, thank you guys for coming by, and hope you guys enjoyed our discussions today. A little bit more Eternity-focused discussion than some of our streams. So that's great. And yeah, we hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.